Kevin Dooms here. I'm on the road to the first million. Here at my primary hustle again, a fancy steakhouse in the Woodlands, Texas. Recently, my primary hustle became a secondary hustle, and my stress levels are through the roof. I am actually starting this program at a horrible time, but if I can create a fan base, you will see how I successfully dug myself out of a major hole and how a true hustler operates. So, here's what we stand. $2,100 next week, or I'll lose my house. $600 next week, just to pay down my car. I've been living off of ramen noodles for 2 weeks now with assorted meats and veggies that I can get from the restaurant that are about to get thrown out at the end of the night. I joked about how I use restaurant paper napkins instead of toilet paper unless a girl's over at my house. I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with the whole concept of getting rich. Not so much for the stuff, the trappings, the Louis, the Rolexes, the cars. I just want freedom. I want real financial freedom. The ability to go where I want, to do what I want at a whim. I want to be able to hop in an RV and just pick a direction and go and stop and do weird, cool shit. And that's the type of stuff I really should be doing right now. But some things happened, life happened, and now I am in a hole and I have to go into true hustle mode to dig myself out of that hole. And that being said, my primary hustle generates about 50 grand a year. But I get bi-weekly paychecks. So I have to somehow generate a huge portion of this income by Friday. Right now, I'm sitting at $600 and something of the $3 grand-ish that I have to need for various expenses just to keep afloat, like bottom line, to get to zero, $3 grand in 2 weeks. And this is how a hustler operates. I'm sitting here, I'm getting ready to do the job, getting into hustle mode, making a video where I'm sitting back here talking to myself like a crazy person, just in hopes of generating a new revenue stream and educating a few people on how to get to that first million. Maybe I didn't get to do the blue collar way. I didn't get to go to college. So I upgraded and I learned about wine and I learned about proper service to the point where I now work in a restaurant where I have the best medical insurance I've ever had. I have $0 co-pays on a lot of prescription medications that are required for me to get my life back right. You know what? Let's start from the beginning. So, the awakening happened. I was 37, so 2017, I was at another fine dining restaurant where we required annual reviews. At the time, I was pulling in about $56K, which was the most I'd ever made in this industry. During my annual review, my general manager offered me a raise. See, waiters in Texas make $2.13 an hour. It's a right to work state, but we don't complain because we view ourselves as salesmen. So it is what it is. But at this time, they offered me $4 an hour, which is, yeah, if you think about it, it was BS, but to them it was just showing me how great of a server I was. Oops. And I remember sitting in my annual review and I had set a financial goal for myself that year, and I said that since I could do 56, I wanted to see if I could hit 80. And my manager looks me straight in the eyes and he goes, yeah, if you work 7 days a week, open to close, I'm sure you can definitely hit that goal. And I'm kind of a numbers person, so instantly I went Rain Man in my head and started running numbers. And in order for me to make 80 grand a year, I would have to sell close to $500,000. And that's when it happened. The epiphany, the awakening, that spark, that aha moment, whatever you want to call it. Burning bush. It was, if I could sell $500,000 of somebody else's product, what the heck? To get 80 grand. Sell $500,000 of your product for somebody else to pay me 80 grand. Why can I not sell part of that $500,000 for myself? And that was when it started. I started researching, and I had heard about Amazon and eBay. And it was something that I could do in my spare time, because at this point I was in a relationship for 7-8 years at the time. And no matter how good of a salesman I am, eventually you start to kind of cap out at waiting tables. That's why waiters end up going into real sales jobs once they age out and finance out. But I decided at that point I was going to try Amazon, so I invested probably about a total of $200 into some used books that I bought at a thrift store. And I sent in $30 worth of books that first time, and in a few months that $30 turned into $106 in profit, and I was hooked. So that was when the garage sale thrift store run started, and I just built that up over time. And by this time last year, every time COVID, one thing after another just kept hitting. But that was the start of my entrepreneurial journey. And that was the spark. After that epiphany, I was never able to look back. I remember when I lost that job, and I went and I applied for another job the same day, immediately after I lost my job at that restaurant up the street. And I walked out of that interview and I thought, and it had really just happened in my head at that point, that I have a business. I have a DBA, I have an EIN. I'm a business owner. Why am I out here begging for scraps? And this was pre-COVID. And up until COVID, I think for about 1.5 years, I completely sustained myself. I just didn't have a big enough prudent reserve to grow. Cash flow became a problem. I got offered another high-paying restaurant job, so I had to take it and start all over from zero again. And I don't know. I feel like I've talked long enough, but because I've had several restarts from zero. And I don't know, David Goggins has definitely been an inspiration, because at the time of this journey I was 285 pounds. I was diagnosed diabetic with an A1C of 12.5. I went into the hospital with a blood sugar of 700 and something. And today I got results back. A1C of 6.3, weight of 240 pounds. I am on no diabetic medications currently. My results say well-managed diabetes, because like some other diseases, once you're diagnosed, you don't get to go back. But that's a whole nother story and a whole nother part of the journey on my road to the first million. I'm Kevin Dooms, and I'm bringing you video number 2. Thank you.